The Boston Celtics, I'm about to make a sweeping statement. Are you ready? This is the deepest team I have ever seen. I've never seen a team ever deep. You're talking a game in which, remember, they had a game where 8 guys scored double figures, and that means your 11th man scored double figures. I've never seen a team with this much quality, legitimate NBA players. Usually you got 7 or 8, 9 at the most, and then you got 3 guys carrying the gym bags. No, I'm serious. Now I'm not saying it's the best team I've ever seen. I'm simply saying they have accumulated more legitimate NBA players on their roster than I have ever seen. Okay,
and they don't have Gallinari.
But that doesn't mean that they can't lose a short series to certain teams. You mentioned one, of course, Milwaukee. I'm not sleeping on Philly. I'm terrified of Embiid.
But you're scared of James Harden, really?
Well,
you trust James Harden?
I didn't say I'm just saying I'm not sleeping on Philly. That's all.
Well, Jeff, let me throw this into the mix. Is when you mentioned Harden, to me, he's the ultimate wild card. So I'm with Bob. I'm not going to sleep on Philly. So if you get in the only team in the East, I think right now, and health is obviously a factor with Milwaukee. Milwaukee's always going to be there. It depends on the health. But Philly scares the hell out of me because in a 7-game series, say Harden has 2-3 good games, and Embiid, that's my concern. Out West, you still have to look at the Warriors if they get in, or Phoenix, but the unknown that scares me is Philly, because I think Harden, he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I'm just not there on them. I don't think they have that winning DNA that they can.
Right.
They can do it. I don't see it. it. But again, Embiid, you're right. I mean, listen, nobody can stop Joel when he's got it going. We know that, but I don't trust Harden on in big moments. Certainly defensively, he'll be exposed. He can be exposed. He will be exposed. I like Maxey. I like Tobias. I love George Niang. We know that. I like him. And listen, for Doc's sake, I hope they go deep. Bob and I have such an affinity for Doc Rivers. I think we both root for him because we want him to save his job, number one. And it would be kind of cool, Sixers, Celtics again, deep in the playoffs this year, Eastern Conference Finals. It'd be fun. I mean, listen, it's not the Sixers and Celtics of old that hated each other. But this would be a fun one.
Yeah, it would be.
Hey, Bob, can the Celtics shoot their way to a title? Because we know they love the three. Two-part question. First of all, can they 3-point their way to a title, number one? And can they handle the adversity if they get punched in the mouth?
I'm more concerned with the second one. That's a great question. But I'd like to think that the lessons learned, after being up in the finals and why they lost, and the turnover thing, and I just learned this morning that Brown's still averaging 3 turnovers a game, is the thing as far as that. As far as the 3-point thing is concerned, yeah, I think that's going to have to remain a vital, major part of their game. It built their identity on that. But the thing is the defense. The last year they were a terrific defensive team, for 2 months, 3 months, and we know they weren't at that level at the beginning of the season. And they all talked. The dialogue was, we have to improve. We got to get back to that defense that we had last year. But right, the mental thing you talked about is important. There's no doubt. They put it this way, they can talk the talk in that regard, and they are. But I wanted to see the walk.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, Gary, about somebody close with the Celtics. And he said, maybe the biggest difference on this team right now from a year ago is Derek White and his confidence. Think about that. Think about where he was last year. He just come to a new team, couldn't make a shot, right? He could not make a shot his whole stretch, basically. Playoffs, he had a game here or there. But now, especially with Marcus Smart being out of the lineup, it's given him more of an opportunity. You could see his confidence. And again, adding he and Brogdon was such a difference because other guys can have off nights now. And you've got, like Bob was saying, you've got 8 strong, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. solid, like good guys. If you have to plug them in, you don't really want to play them minutes in the playoffs if you don't have to, and you shouldn't have to with their 8 strong. And they finally are healthy. Like this could be tonight at Indiana. I think could be like the 8th time that they'll have all their 8 guys, their top 8 guys. So to me, let's see what they can do. Everybody's relying on the 3, Gary. That's the only thing I'd say there is everybody's relying on the 3.
Yeah.
They more than most, right? Like Golden State more than everybody, but they've got the elite shooters, Hall of Fame shooters, so you don't care. The Celtics don't have that. That's collectively, they're a good shooting team. But if you look at them each individually, like, well, where's the Steph? Where's the Clay? They don't really have that.
Right.
The interesting thing about this roster composition, is that when you have this many good players, it increases you have multiple decisions you can make, as the coach about, and that's not necessarily such a good thing because the ideal team, everybody knows who the starting 5 is. And then you've got 3 guys coming off the bench in a regular rotation. And at least one of them is a specialist. Whether it's rebounding, shooting, defending, he's a specialist.
I think you have that, though.
Another one is a two-position player, whether it's guard, forward, center, but more and then the third is just, a guy, But that's as deep as championship teams have traditionally gone in most cases.
All right, so I would tell you, then the 3 guys off the bench, when everybody's healthy, Bob, are obviously Brogdon's accepted his role off the bench, right? But I guess what you're getting at is different, not who's starting and who's coming off the bench, who's on the floor at the end of the game.
Yeah, right. Now we talk about Derek White, and he's gotten, I'm sure, very well accustomed to having a major role in this team. But if everybody's in the mix, he's going to have a lesser part of the whole. He's going to, and can he handle that? We know Brogdon can handle whatever comes his way. I think
White can too. White's the ultimate teammate. He's the honestly. Well, Derek White and Brogdon, I don't worry about it all. The one that is not concerning, but like will be interesting is Robert Williams if he's healthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's fine. But so it's going to. But I'm sticking with what I said. This is the deepest team I've ever seen.
Yeah,
that's legitimate.
Guys,
I'm calling Cornette and Muscala legitimate NBA players, and I think they are. And I've never seen a team that have this many legitimate NBA players. But that doesn't mean
they certainly have been able to withstand slumps, injuries. Jaylen Brown. I mean, there was a stretch where like Marcus was out, Jaylen was out, and they still have the best record in the NBA.